You were also contacted in another investigation into the election and the efforts to overturn it. That was Jack Smith, the special counsel's. We reported that your office was contacted. When did you sit down with Jack Smith's office, and how long did you talk to them for?
I don't know exactly when that was. It's been months ago, but really didn't last that long. I basically told them the same thing I told the special grand juries, that I followed the law and the Constitution and answered all their questions truthfully.
That clip from a recent CNN interview with Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is getting a lot of attention from what he said. Here, take another listen.
When did you sit down with Jack Smith's office, and how long did you talk to them for?
I don't know exactly when that was. It's been months ago, but really didn't last that long. I basically told them the same thing I told the special grand juries, that I followed the law and the Constitution and answered all their questions truthfully.
Kemp resisted intense pressure from Donald Trump to overturn the 2020 election results in his state. And he revealed having been interviewed by special counsel Jack Smith, signaling potential trouble for Trump in ongoing investigations. Kemp also testified in a special grand jury in 2022 as part of a separate probe into efforts by Trump and his allies to overturn the election in Georgia. This is very, far-right Republican Trump. Don't forget, Governor Kemp is not a moderate by any means. He's still down with voter suppression, Cop City. He'll bring it on the conservative side. However, that's apparently not enough for Trump. Trump tried to thwart his re-election efforts when he was re-elected again in 2022. So I'm going to guess that Governor Kemp is not willing to take a bullet for Donald Trump. I'm going to make that, assumption. So obviously that moment on CNN is getting all the attention, but he also said something else to Caitlin Collins that, watch.
On the 2024 race generally, you have been very concerned about Republicans winning and what that looks like. And something you said recently, that you said it's unacceptable to you that Republicans have not won the popular vote for 20 years now. And you said, quote, as bad as Joe Biden is, this election will not be a cakewalk. Do you think that Donald Trump could win the popular vote or just the election period?
Well, I definitely think he could win. I definitely think he could lose. And that's really what my point is. We need candidates, I think, to be able to win and to be able to win in November of 2024, to be focused on the future, to be telling the American people what we're for, why they should vote for us, not why the other person's so bad. Look, there's plenty of bad things, in my opinion, about Joe Biden and the way he's governed the country. But also, I think you got to give people a reason to vote for you. And that's been my message, not only just a few weeks ago, but also a few months ago, I was saying the same thing.
It's so crazy to hear someone, as far right and as Governor Kemp acknowledge that people don't like the GOP. Basically said, we haven't won the popular vote. Why? And so, funny history. It's a little morsel of history. After the Republicans lost to Obama, they ran Mitt Romney, he lost. They regrouped and said, we need to change our strategy. So they hired consultants and said, hey, let's soften our image. Let's open up to things like healthcare and, what Americans want, right? Let's look at what they want, not just focus on, culture war issues. And that was an actual direction they were considering until Donald Trump became so popular. They said, well, I guess talking about the borders, they took our jobs, illegals, China, and this rampant xenophobia works even better than this healthcare or family tax credit nonsense. It is nice to hear what he's saying about this instead of just being this MAGA NPC, though, as opposed to this lunatic.
I don't care if he is in a jail cell. I am one of those people that will vote for him no matter what. Because
how do you feel about the concept of law and order in general?
I agree with law and order. I am 100%.
Do you feel that if he's convicted, though, that wouldn't change your mind?
He won't be convicted.
But if he was?
But he won't.
But if he was?
He won't.
But if he was convicted?
He won't be convicted.
But if he was convicted?
It is impossible.
I don't know, but I'm saying, what if he's found guilty?
He won't be.
But what if he is?
I'm not going to answer that question. Okay. He won't be.
But if a trial takes place and then he's found guilty, like what if that happens?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay.
So it was cool of Kemp to acknowledge this, at least. And he was just so close. I was like, okay, Kemp, keep going. And then he just swerved right off the road. Watch.
How do Republicans do that? What does winning look like for them? Because you're someone who was able to successfully win re-election in your state when it was an open question initially when we talked then. What do they need to be running on come November, in your view?
Well, I think looking back, take the border, for instance, right now. The reason the border is a disaster is because we didn't win the 2020 election at the presidential level. We got beat. We lost the election. Therefore, you're seeing bad policies that have created a disaster at the border. So it's imperative that you win to be able to get into positions like I'm in, where you can actually govern. And if you look at my re-election campaign, look, there was plenty of distractions, people trying to talk about this issue or that issue, and we kept telling the people of Georgia what we're going to do for them. What our record was, like getting the economy going, coming out of COVID, not backing down to people that were pressuring us, not to reopen or to shut back down, and to keep our kids in the classroom, and not to defund the police and go after bad criminal actors and, Antifa and other people that are trying to burn down the city of Atlanta. We didn't get distracted on these other issues, and that's what we need to do in the presidential election, in my opinion.
He was so close. And then he's just like, okay, just by the way, just in case, I'm still a Republican. I'm still a MAGA Republican. I just, border, fentanyl, just southern border, gender ideology, Antifa, he just went full boomer. Kemp is making a good point. He's just saying you can't just sling mud at the other side. You have to have something, the reason for people to get excited for you, right? Are you listening to the Democratic Party? Are you hearing this? You have to, have some messaging, please. I don't want to, do violence towards Democratic people. I don't want to do violence towards the Democratic Party at all. When I say this, understand that. I want to shake them. The people in charge of messaging, I want to shake them and be like, how are you so bad at this? Messaging, awful messaging. Just, whenever they do one or two good things with regards to messaging, I'm like, oh, right? Republicans, MAGA, amazing. They'll just take something that's completely untrue and just repeat it until it's just magically true, right? Like Chicago is the most dangerous place in the country, if not the world. And then you're like, whoa, it's number 30. It's number 30 on the most dangerous cities. What do you mean it's number 30? And they'll be like, it's the most dangerous place in the entire country. So, Joe Biden, I hope he stops doing the genocide. Hot take.